there's something that I wish to state at the outset, that this combination of two judges presided over by your lordship and the judgment that you render is going to decide on the fate of democracy in India. This is how important this matter is. And that's a matter of great moment, Mullahs. Number two, let's look back, Mullahs, a little. Let's not talk about 2025. Look back pre-independence. What was the situation? What was our fight about? Our fight was ultimately not just about political independence. Our fight was about equality. Our fight about was universal suffrage. And if you look at the 1919 Act, Mullahs, I just point out to your lordships, just have a look. What the situation was then. And what is it that after independence we tried to do, and the Election Commission played a very crucial role in doing that? Just look at Section 3 of the 1919 Act. A person shall not be eligible for election as a member of the Legislative Assembly if such person is not a British subject or is a female. This is what we were fighting for. Or is already a member of the any legislative body constituted under the Act, or having been a legal practitioner has been dismissed or is under suspension from practicing as such by an order of a competent court, or has been adjudged by a competent court to be of unsound mind, is 25 years of age, is undischarged solvent, or being discharged insolvent, has not been obtained from the court a certificate that the solvency is caused by misfortune without misconduct. And then have a look at Section 6. The page 88, right on top. The qualifications of an elector for a general constituency shall be such qualifications based on community, residence, and ownership or occupation of a building, or assessment to or payment of municipal or cantonment of rates or taxes on local cesses, assessment to or payment of income tax, holding of land. These were all exclusionary things. Just before, this is what we were fighting against. An exclusionary exercise by any election commission post-independence is contrary to the basic premise of inclusion. Any attempt, deletion of names is all give me an enumeration form that you have to file. Why should I? It is your responsibility. Why should I have to file an enumeration form? It's not the elector's responsibility. That's not the scheme of the Act and of the Constitution. Now see the 35 Act. Yes. Section 8, page 2. Subject as aforesaid, a person who is a woman shall also, Section 8. Qualification, then additional qualifications for women. Subject to, as aforesaid, a person who is a woman shall also be qualified to be included in the electoral roll for any territorial constituency if she is the pensioned widow or the pensioned mother of a person who was an officer, non-commissioned officer or soldier of His Majesty's regular service. All other women out. If her husband possesses the qualifications requisite for the purpose of this paragraph, the husband shall be deemed to possess the qualifications requisite for the purposes of the last preceding paragraph if he is either was assessed in the previous financial year to income tax. These kind of conditions you can give your passport. This is not some elitist exercise that is being done. Or is a retired, pensioned, or discharged officer, non-commissioned officer, or soldier of His Majesty's. And this goes on and on. It's all in respect of tax-paying people. And see, Malad, see at the beginning, Section 6, subject as aforesaid, just the previous page. Subject as aforesaid, A person shall also be qualified to be included in the electoral roll for any territorial constituency if he is proved in the prescribed manner to be literate. Don't you think, Malaj, there are millions of illiterate persons in this country? There are women who do not know how to read and write, and they are asked to fill an enumeration form. And if you don't fulfill the enumeration form, your name will be cancelled. What kind of exercise is that? These are the real constitutional issues, with the greatest respect, that your lordships have to decide. Forget the procedure for the moment. Then what happened? In 1929, Maharaj, there was this resolution of Purn Swaraj. That was the resolution of 1929. And on January 26, why we celebrate Republic Day, Purn Swaraj was declared on January 26, 1930. And we celebrate that as independence. The Purn Swaraj for what? Of inclusion, of universal suffrage, of no conditions. You want to delete my name? Delete it, but for reason. Then the 31 Karachi resolution, passed under the presidency of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, said, quote, the franchise shall be on the basis of universal adult suffrage. I'll give this to your lordship. And then from September to December 1931, the Roundtable Conference took place and the Government of India Act came into force in 1935, which I've just handed over to your lordship. So the first point I want to make is the whole exercise of any commission post-independence must not be an exclusionary exercise. Otherwise, it will be unconstitutional. That's the first point I wish to make. Now, Malaj, what's the second point? Your lordships rightly said to us, Malaj, and that's part of the Aadhaar Act itself, that the fact that you have an Aadhaar card doesn't mean that you're a citizen of India. Absolutely right. Now, Malaj, there are three conditions on the basis of which I can vote. One, that I am a citizen of India. Two, that I am a resident of the place. And three, Malaj, as set out in section 50 of the Act, section 16 of the Act, that I'm not less than 18 years of age. So I must be more than 18. I must be an ordinarily resident. I must be a citizen of India. Right, Malaj? Now, that I am resident and that I am more than 18 will be reflected in my electoral roll, previous electoral roll. Unless I have changed residence. And when I change residence, a Form 8 has to be filed. And the person who says that I have changed residence, Malaj, will have to prove. There's a process for that. Then only my name would be excluded. So an exclusionary process, an exclusion of a name must follow a process. That's my second submission. Then any attempt to exclude me must be followed by a process which is reasonable and fair. Now, Malaj, the third issue is the citizenship. Now, Malaj, under Form 5, for Form 6 and Form 7, a self-declaration is accepted as proof of citizenship. A self-declaration, because it's by nature inclusionary. Now, just show you Form 6 and 7. To see the Representation of People's Act. If your lordship looks at page probably 159 of this book, it starts at 158, form 6. Your lordships will find item 7, document for proof of date of birth. Any one of these, if your lordships has that.
Form 7.
Form 6.
Form 6.
This is an application for new voters. I'm trying to show, Mullahs, the nature of the exercise must be inclusionary, not exclusionary. And if you look at Form 6, which is when a new voter is to be included, then he is to give his date of birth issued by a competent local body. Lakhs and lakhs of people will not have that. And 2, Aadhaar card. So an Aadhaar card is proof of date of birth, not citizenship. So that's not an issue. That's under 16. That's proven that I was born on such and such day. Now, then self-attested copy of address, which is item B there, 8B. Proof either in the name of the applicant or any of the parents, is if already enrolled as elector at the same address. Again, water, electricity, gas connection for that address, at least 1 year, Aadhaar card. That's proof of ordinarily residence. Then any other document of proof of residence, let's not deal with any of that. Now see the declaration. I hereby declare that to the best of my knowledge and belief, I am a citizen of India. That's enough. And my place of birth is there. In any case, in the Aadhaar card, and residence is there. So, brothers, all this is self-declaration. Now, let's assume you want to deny me. I am not resident of that area. Form 8 comes in. And the person who says that I'm not a resident.
Declaration is quite comprehensive.
Yes.
Suppose first, if you are a citizen, and then you will disclose your place of birth and some details.
Yes, yes.
But just see, Mr. Sibbal,
yes.
If you don't have any proof or anything, still you have to make a declaration.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. That Form 6 has to be, for a new elector, he has to file Form 6, not an enumeration form. And that has to be, how is it to be done? The BLO has to go to his house. Mullahs, under the law, the burden can never be on the elector for documentation. That's how a special revision is done. It's a house-to-house visit by the BLO, which will come to the next stage as to how this whole process is exclusionary and unreasonable. Well, let's.
So probably your argument is that once your name is there in the
electoral
roll,
yes,
then there is a presumption that you are a citizen and you are a valid electorate. And then ownerships on the other party, they want to prove that no, you have been wrongly included in the list.
yes.
Then ownerships on them.
And then the process is followed to take my right away. No doubt, Malad. That process is set out. And none of that process is followed. None of that is followed, Malad. And this whole process of getting this data can never, for no earthly reason, can be completed in 2 months. There is no way. No way that it can be completed in 2 months. And why at all should this be done? Now, Miller, just see Form 7 in the light of what I just, my submission now, Miller. Form 7.
But can we really stall certain thing on the premise that it cannot be done so easily within a particular period of time? Because if at all, if suppose the law or the constitutional scheme permits to initiate a process, then maybe that an authority has a very bright line mind, when too optimistic, they say in 2 months,
Yeah.
and actually it may take 4 months. So one issue of extension of time is something different. Annulling that process only on the ground that you can't do it in 2 months is altogether different.
Yes.
So where the argument, if at all it is there that it is humanly not possible within a period,
2 months.
then
Yes.
that chance will have to be given to them, that can you do it or you require
No,
more
but
time?
you'll never know. Well, this court will never know because we are dealing with facts that your lordships will not be aware of. Supposing they say, I have done it.
20 people.
That's why, supposing they say, I have done it. Well, how will your lordships know whether they have done it properly or not?
No, somebody, the agreed person will come. There is,
But the election will be over.
no. That a person whose name is excluded from the voter list,
Yeah.
he will have a right to file a statutory appeal. He can go even to the commission, then he can come to the court of law, and at least some instance will come before us. Because why we are saying, Mr. Sipal, we experienced a very strange kind of thing in Bihar. We every day we kept on telling, directing. Ultimately, we sent our own paralegal volunteers, and at least we would like to trust them. Our executive chairman, legal service authority, sent a report that paralegal volunteers have been able to persuade or to reach out to so many people. A few thousand people were there.
Sure.
Now nobody come forward to say that why I have been excluded.
Well, there are any number of people, any number of people. Maybe you're not even aware. Maharaj, please see the reality of my country and our country. See the reality of our country. You think in the far removed areas of West Bengal or in Bihar or in other areas, Maharaj, the people, the women there on the farms will know how to fill an enumeration form?
But they can at least, they will go to some forum, Mr. Sibal, to say.
Maharaj, they don't know forums. Maharaj, please appreciate, even lawyers, unfortunately, are not aware of procedures. Forget about Maharaj, ordinary citizens of this country.
So lawyers are there, free legal aid volunteers are there, and
Maharaj, you can't have so many volunteers for lakhs and lakhs of electors. It's impossible. Crores of electors. How will you? When many of them went to vote on the polling day and they say their name is deleted, where do you go from there? And who wants to bother then? Maharaj, please appreciate the psyche of a person. Now they're going to carry on another procedure. Say, chalo, mera naam kat gaya, to kat gaya. What can I do?
Sibal, that you have an experience of contesting election also. The percentage of voting in Lieutenant Delhi and a village from 50 kilometers away from here, you will see the marked difference.
There's no doubt about it.
People in the rural area, they celebrate the day of vote.
Correct.
It is taken as a festivity.
Correct.
And they go in groups, there are
I'm not
singing, there are music, there are food served.
Not this question is who is voting for whom and how. I'm sorry, Maharaj, I have to say this. Yeah, and it's impossible for your lordships to know. Impossible, because Maharaj, they say we've done everything that is in accordance with the law. We say on the ground they have not done anything. How will your lordships determine?
No. We are only on the point that the voter in the rural area, the voter among the marginalized sections, in the farming community, those in the labor, those who are actually in manual, semi-skilled working conditions, they are more vigilant as compared to the urbanites in terms of the voting pattern.
I don't want to say anything, Maharaj. Certainly it's an opinion, Maharaj. So we've got some different perspective to that. But be that as it may, I'm not, Maharaj. I'm on the constitutional issue. What I'm saying to your lordships is entirely different. That there is a presumption, a self-declaration, I am a citizen, I live here, there's an Aadhaar card that I have, that's my residence. You want to take it away through a process. And that process must be established before your lordships. Right, Maharaj? Now, there is no doubt, Maharaj, that many of the people, names were deleted. No doubt about it. We brought to you people who were alive and who were perceived to be dead in the voters list. Now, how did that BLO decide that they were dead? and those who were dead were seen to be alive. How did the BLO decide? So there has to be some explanation. So whoever that BLO wasn't doing his job properly.
Yellow goes, that's the door-to-door survey he makes.
Sorry, Malak?
Now
It is the door-to-door survey as per the rules the BLO is required to make.
Correct, Malak. Now, if
That is why the information comes to the BLO with
Correct.
regard to persons who have shifted or persons who have,
correct. So, Malak, somebody
dead.
must have given him the information.
there may have been a false information. So it is not that an survey is always 100% correct.
You're absolutely right. I'm not saying that.
That is why the draft electoral roll comes out.
But-
And whenever there is an error in the draft roll, someone who has been incorrectly omitted as dead and can always respond.
Right, you're
This is the reason, Mr.
Question.
Sipal, we had directed the lists of the dead and the shifted persons to be put up not only on the websites, but also in the panchayats and other.
Malaz, I'm not on that, Your Lordship. We have no grievance with that. Another grievance, Malaz. My grievance is that you have asked the person to fill an enumeration form.
Right?
That's my first grievance, Malaz.
That's the constitutional.
I'm only arguing the constitutional issue.
Requirement of that comes from the right of the election commission under section 23
No, Malaz,
to
with respect.
go into a survey or a revision.
Special, but never done in the past.
Forms of
Malaz,
revision.
never done in the history of this country. This has been never done. In the history of this country.
Thing is, if it is legally sanctioned, whether it is the first time or it is again, there was a history, is not really a relevant
All right. Well,
stone on which
Let me
constitutionality.
respond to that.
Just say the election commission decides to go into a special intensive revision as they
Correct.
describe it.
Or,
They reposit that power in section 23(3) and also under Article 326 of the Constitution.
I'll come.
One of the parameters on which they say they require this special intensive revision is there are certain entries which may be of doubtful
right.
integrity.
Right.
And in that spirit,
Yes.
the election commission makes an endeavor.
Yes.
Now, how can we say that there was a complete lack of jurisdiction?
I'll respond to that. I didn't say lack of jurisdiction. No, but lack of jurisdiction is one aspect of unconstitutional law.
This is so, we
That's
don't,
only one
you are
aspect.
not arguing on the lack of jurisdiction.
I'm not arguing.
Because you went
I'm
to a very
saying-
fundamental area that the election commission lacks the power
No, I didn't say.
to seek an inquiry with regard to the credibility of entries
I'm on
already.
the process. I'm not on the lack of jurisdiction, Melissa. Your lordships put it to me whether 23, they have the power or not. I accept that they do because it's been done in the past. So I can't say that they have no power. What I'm saying is the process that they have adopted is unreasonable both substantially and procedurally.
The next limb of your argument, that the process in which the SIR is being implemented across the country is too hasty,
Hasty,
is unreasonable,
unreasonable.
and therefore is in fact taking away the right.
That's right. Exclusionary and therefore
which-
exclusionary.
Which is vested in a
Electoral.
person entitled to be.
That's my
electoral role.
That's my submission. My submission is not that they don't have the power. That's why I started by saying, I'm not saying that. But the procedure itself shifts the burden. I have to prove that I am a citizen. How do I prove that? I can only say my Aadhaar card is here, I was born here, this is accepted. Now, if you say that, look, I'm not a citizen, follow that process. They don't follow that. Now, see, that's why I showed you.
Look at Form 6.
Sorry?
Look at Form 6.
Yes.
Form
looking
6 is a form which a person aspiring to become
Yes.
a voter
Yes.
can fill in and deposit with the election commission or the appropriate
Correct.
authority for inclusion.
Correct.
Does it mean that the election commission has to accept the entries
No.
as sacrosanct?
No, not at all. Now just see.
So there is this residual jurisdiction
Correct.
always
Correct.
to go into a preliminary inquiry with
Absolutely.
regard to credibility.
That's Form 7 now.
Now, the Form 7 is different. It's an objection by someone else.
Yes, that's all.
Now, we are not on objections. Inherent power in the election commission to accept
No.
the correctness of entries in Form
I'm
6
sorry, Malaj.
or a complementary power
no.
to
Let-
go into the correctness
There are
of the statement.
There are two ways to look at that. I appreciate what my lord. There are two ways to look at that. Either the electoral officer, that is the BLO, has some evidence with himself saying that he believes that he is not a citizen. Whether it's a third person or the BLO himself, he must have something.
When an election commission chooses, what you are portraying, Mr. Sibal, is that the election commission in an inert post office, where a Form 6 application must inherently be accepted and included as a voter.
Prima facie. It must be accepted unless he has some evidence in his possession, which I'm not saying no, Malaj. I'm not saying he doesn't have the power.
Why we are putting this question to you is, if there is this power
Yeah.
of the election commission, at the first point, that is 23-1, when
Yeah.
the first list is being made
Right,
and the applications coming in as Form 6,
right.
then will it not be very incongruous to say that once there is a list, although we take into consideration our judgment with regard to someone already in the electoral roll, having a presumption of
Yeah, yeah.
correctness with regard to a citizenship,
Yeah.
that apart,
Yeah.
there will always be this jurisdiction inherent in a
Correct.
constitutional body
Correct.
to examine, verify, vet
All right.
documents which are placed before it for consideration.
I'll have a
In doing that, if it asks that you put in an application akin to Form 6, akin to Form
Yes.
6 in the special intensive revision, in order to vet the entries, and mind you, entries not made in 2002 electoral roll.
Correct.
It would be perhaps another species of your
Correct.
argument. Why
After 2002, Malaj, that's the
Why
first time he's
2002?
becoming a
You will
voter.
ask them to answer.
First time he's
Definitely
becoming a
you will
voter.
ask
My
them
lord
to
is
answer
right.
that.
My lord is
Then
right.
why not 2019? Why not
yes, yes.
2015? Why 2000?
That's correct.
They will
But
not.
I agree, Malaj, what my lord is saying, I agree. In other words, when he wants to become, when he is to become a voter first, I don't say he doesn't have the jurisdiction.
Always
I'm saying he must have some element
That's
of,
what we felt.
no, he must have some element of proof. I'm sorry, Malaj. He must have some evidence to say. Otherwise, he'll ask every elector, how do you tell me I'm a citizen? Show me how I'm a citizen. See, that's what somebody objects. Nah. My lord is saying something different. Malaj, there are two issues here. One, if somebody objects, Malaj, Form 7 comes.
Form 7. Form 7 is not the inherent power of ECI.
Correct.
I think ECI power will be traceable to 21 of the act or something.
7
If
is
there is
opening the hands of
an
the neighborhood.
entry,
No, I am, Malaj,
then under section 20 or 21 of the act, they have to give a notice under the rules
yes,
for hearing,
right.
for
Yeah,
deletion.
yes. Therefore,
Deletion
Malaj,
of
if somebody else
Rule
objects,
16.
if somebody else objects, one
Rule
second, hold.
20.
If somebody else objects, Malaj, if somebody else objects, there is a whole process.
That is
Correct.
another. That
And if the BLO himself objects, what's that process?
is the ECI. That is, the BLO is an agent.
Correct. What's the process, Malaj? Let's assume he says, I'm not a citizen. Let's accept what my lord is putting to me. That the BLO says, I am not a citizen. Malaj, it's not his jurisdiction to say that I am not. He'll have to send that to the central government, Malaj, for adjudication. Because BLO has no authority to decide.
The SIR scheme, if you are in the 2002 electoral roll, if the ECI is not including you in the draft roll, it has the duty to send a notice to you for deletion.
Correct? No, I'm on the inherent power of the BLO, Malaj, what my lord is putting to me. I'm on that. I'm not on the other issue. If, Malaj, he has the inherent power, he cannot decide that I'm a citizen of India or not, because that jurisdiction is with the central government. That's a status granted by the central government.
He's not deciding you as a citizen or not. He's just not satisfied that you are born and that day in the place, or you are not a resident of the
But that's
place.
the Aadhaar card.
That is, Aadhaar card does not prove as absolute or conclusive proof.
Then, Maharaj, I'll need a certificate
So
of
that,
birth. How will not, I will know, millions will not have it.
no, definitely, because that is why if you see, we included the Aadhaar card
Yes.
as one of the multiple options.
Right.
Now, in these situations, if they don't include you, they will give, there will always be a post-decisional hearing.
Maharaj, where is that post-decisional hearing given to us?
So please see the memorandum of procedure. There is a appeal provided to the collector. After collector, the appeal goes to the.
I know, but have they, to tell them to show where they have given the notice to us and where appeals are provided?
Yes, Mr. Sibbal, that MOP was published, nobody had disputed that there is a provision of.
No, there is a appeal procedure, there is a whole notice period, but who is given that on the ground, Maharaj? Ask them.
We ourselves passed the order, we provided that right, that you please avail the remedy of appeal. And if you file an appeal, we also directed the appellate authority to
Maharaj-
decide by so and so time.
Maharaj, there are millions of people who don't have the wherewithal to file appeals.
Sibbal, can we?
Then that's why
Can we paralyze any?
No, but
constitutional
this is
or
the paralysis
statutory
of the entire
proceeding by
election.
saying that
Is the-
people, because on facts, you see, the facts have demonstrated completely what you are arguing.
it's the exercise of power that we are dealing with, Maharaj. I'm not talking about.
Ultimately, let us take Bihar as one of the pilot project or illustrative basis. Initially, projection before us was that crores of people are being deprived of. We were also very apprehensive. That's why we continue to issue directions from one after the other. We know that because of some of the directions were quite effective and those really helped a lot. But eventually what happened? The dead were not disputed. Those who are migrated were not disputed. 22 lakh something, 8 lakh something. And finally, hardly 3 lakh
There are
37.
thousands who have disputed. Now, what can I say to your losses? Let's leave this out, Maharaj. I did not go into all that. Really,
Well, data and graphs were presented on from your side. In fact, if I recollect, Mr. Yadav presented charts
yes.
which showed in 2014-15 the population and the electoral roll was over 100%.
Yes, true.
So does it
So
not
therefore, Maharaj,
require a responsible ECI to go into a special
Maharaj,
intensive revision?
I think we are on two different Maharaj, quite
Now,
frankly.
in this situation, if the ECI undertakes an aggressive intensive revision, where the deletions, again, from the same chart, appears to be to a large extent. There were some deletions, but these deletions has not resulted in any response from the individual elector concerned. We
Maharaj,
don't find that degree of impact on the ground level.
Maharaj.
You are saying that is because maybe of ignorance or lack of wherewithal, etc. If continuously sought to flag those exercises by weaponizing district legal services authorities,
Maharaj.
other authorities, requesting repeatedly the political parties to actively participate in this process.
Many
so
voters
that
on
they
the
are
polling day have
vigilant-
gone and found their names
vigilant
not
soldiers for the
deleted.
electors.
Where do we go after that? Which elector will then say, I'll file an appeal?
we direct-
But anyway, Maharaj, I'm moving away. Let's not move away from the constitutional issue that I wish to raise, Maharaj. All I'm saying is that if the BLO suspects anything, Maharaj, I have the Aadhaar card. If he has any evidence, he has to put it to me. That what is that evidence with him to show that I was not born on such and such day? Because it is he who suspects me. It is he who suspects me that I was not born, but he must have something in his mind to suspect.
Well, Aadhaar card is creation of a statute.
Yes.
To the extent that statute acknowledge the benefits or the right or the privilege based upon an Aadhaar card, nobody can dispute that. After all, Aadhaar card is prepared and issued for a particular object under a particular statute.
Correct.
There can't be any dispute there.
That's right.
But only because for the purpose of availing the benefit of certain social welfare schemes, a person has got an Aadhaar card. Let us be very
Yeah,
practical.
no, fine, fine. I appreciate what my lord is.
Let us take it like this,
Yeah.
that there are persons, suppose they intrude from a different country, from neighboring countries, they come to India. When they are working in India, they are staying in India, somebody is working, poor fellow, as a rickshaw puller, somebody working as a laborer on a construction site. If you issue a Aadhaar card to him, that you so that you avail the benefit of a subsidized ration for the children or for any benefit, that's something a part of our constitutional ethos. That is our constitutional morality that we must provide. But it doesn't mean that because he has been given this benefit, he must now be made a voter also.
True, Malaj. Not, I don't dispute that.
That is what exactly we are saying. If there are instances where a person is a bona fide resident, a citizen of India, if he has been excluded, we have been eagerly, desperately looking for those instances so that we could rectify their procedural error.
But if he goes on the voting day and he finds that he's not, what will he do after that?
On that day, if we find, yes, we understand that part, but
What do we do? But anyway, Malaj, my lord, what my lord is saying is right. But that may be true of some border state. It can't be true of Kerala. It can't be true of Bihar.
you see, sometimes we should give full credit to media also for one thing, that for Bihar SIR, every day there were media reports. So if any person sitting in the remotest area were aware that something is going, something is happening, some voter list is being prepared, new voter list is coming out, objections are being invited. In that entire process, can somebody say that I was completely aloof, I am not aware of what has happened?
Well, I'm not saying that. I think that it is not my case that the election commission has no power. I am only on the processes, Malaj. First, I said that the process should be inclusive. That's my first point. Any attempt to shift the burden to the elector to do something to prove a fact is inconsistent with our constitutional culture right from the beginning, before independence. Right? This is, your lordship said, certainly if there are more than 100% voters, you have nowadays softwares which will exclude all that. You don't have to do all this. If there are duplicate voters, you can have a software that excludes duplicate voters. You don't have to do all this. You don't have to give the power like this to people. Because ultimately, BLOs are who? They are teachers. They are teachers, mothers, they are recruited.
Mr. Sibal, software is also, we see, again we have to see the hub of the voters. The hub of the voters is rural areas. Do you think that softwares will work there to identify?
No, from the
You have to
voters
be
list.
very
Not of
close to
that.
ground realities also.
I'm talking of the voters list, Malaj, not any of the software. If there are duplicates, the software will show that there are duplicates.
Duplicates, yes, but not dead persons.
I'm not on dead person, Malaj. That
Duplicates,
somebody,
yes, we
Malaj,
follow.
in a Malaj, I have conducted elections, I have lost and I have won. But Malaj, what happens when they are a dead person?
You are fortunate to get us from an urban area.
That's true. Now, Malaj, what happens in my street? If in a particular street, I'll have my worker, the other party will have their worker. They will both know who is dead.
And they've divided
Right.
50-50.
They
You are
will both know
absolutely
who
right.
is dead, Malaj.
Mr.
So they
Sibal.
will object.
You are
Mr.
absolutely
Singhal,
right.
it is our person, it is
The
our
political
experience
agent, the
also.
political worker, they know very well that
it
who is
all
dead and who is alive, and if he is alive, where he has gone,
Correct.
they know everything.
Therefore, that information will be given
It
to
all,
the BLO.
Mr. Simple, it all depends on the political gradient. The one political party which is stronger
Yes.
takes all the dead voters and they are voted in their
And you are
favor.
telling me the reality which
Then
I already
that
know,
is,
Malaj.
we don't judge in vacuum.
That's right.
That's
That's
the
exactly
reality.
the point, Malaj.
And that is why the dead voters need to be weeded out.
Correct, absolutely right. And that process,
Otherwise, it is not party A or party B.
correct,
It is which is the power gradient.
correct.
If the power gradient is for party A, all the dead voters vote for party
Yes,
A.
that
Correct.
name is like.
And if the power gradient is for party B, Malaj,
Yes,
then
the
all
party
in
B
that
gets all the
seat,
voters.
those who are against party B will not also go and vote. That also happens. That also happens, Malaj. Some are not allowed to vote, but we are on law. We are not on what's happening on the ground. So my second submission is, now your lordships comes to section, Malaj, 15 of the 1950 Act. Sorry, not 15, 16. Just have a look at that. There are no border areas in Kerala for anybody to infiltrate. Huh? There might be dead voters, certainly. There might be also those who are dead alive. So it happens both ways. Let's kindly have a look at Section 16 of the 1950 Act. And what my lord is putting to me, this whole enumeration procedure, and I've left that to Mr. Bhushan, he will show you that in Assam, they are following exactly what we are saying. Exactly that.
That SIR for Assam
Is
has
it?
come after this general SIR for other states, just come about 2 weeks ago.
Exactly what we are saying.
So Bhushan, have you placed on record the notification of Assam?
I've just got it, I've got copies.
Whether the whole SIR procedure is what
Your
we are saying, no
argument is on
enumeration
some
form.
document, it must be on record. We don't know what are the parameters of Assam SIR.
He'll argue, tell your lordship that. See Section 16.
Assam has its own, of course, when the Assam issue comes, because I came across a lot of things when I was writing the CB judgment for 6A. I recollect, so Assam has its own uniqueness, there are different kind of challenges.
There is no difference between the other states and Assam. So on citizenship, for example, my lord, the Assam SIR says something very significant. It says, if your lordship just takes that, there is a section called D voters. That is
Doubtful voters.
on the basis of citizenship. It says at page 4 of this, I've just sent it over, my lord. Your lordship may take a look at that. I've just handed over copy.
No, but has anybody challenged something in Assam?
No. I'm pointing out that throughout, the Election Commission has always said that, look, it is not the job of the Election Commission to give a determination of citizenship.
Correct.
So, if your lordship now sees D voter, the details
File
of
an
the
affidavit
voter
also.
shall not be included in statement
Which
1.
page are you referring to?
4D. Section 4, pre-revision activities, page 4. And after 4 lines below, it says D. Pre-revision activities.
Are you referring to D for Delhi, D voter?
Yes, D voters. The details of D voters shall not be included in statement 1 as no verification is required in their case. All related particulars such as name, age, photograph, etc. of D voters shall be carried forward to the draft electoral roll without any change. Any modification, including removal or deletion, shall be made only upon receipt of an order from a competent foreigners tribunal or an appropriate.
Yes, Mr. Bhushan, there is a background behind this.
Yes.
I think Assam is the only state where you have these foreign tribunals constituted.
Yes.
If you please go through that judgment where I have ultimately in the final direction, I have said that identification purposes, all the 3-4 statutes shall be read as complementary to each other and the determination will take place.
Yes.
So probably it is only to protect the legal rights of those persons against whom there is no order by the tribunal.
That's right, that's right.
That's right. So therefore, the issue is whether the election commission officers on their own can determine somebody's citizenship without any order from a
We're coming to that.
tribunal or a court
That's Section 16.
of India.
That is probably only to avoid overlapping of jurisdiction.
No, kindly see 16. If you're
Tribunals are constituted under the special statutes.
Maybe, my lord, but every case may not have been referred to the tribunal. Now the election commission is saying, if you find somebody whose citizenship is doubtful,
he has to report it to the central government.
foreigners tribunal.
Because that is the obligation under the statute.
No, but here the central government, Mullah.
That is an obligation in general. It is not an obligation for the purpose of voters list. Here the election commission is saying for the purpose of voters list also, election officers are not to determine that citizenship on their own.
Exactly. There
They
is,
have to refer it to the foreigners tribunal or
because of the mandate in the constitution bench judgment that they can't do it.
No, there's.
Because there we have laid down a mechanism under which the issues regarding complaints by anyone that he is not a citizen of India and therefore he should be deported, that complaint will have to be decided only by a quasi-judicial tribunal constituted by the court.
Well, just may I-
the foreigners tribunal is not restricted only to Assam. It is true that they were initially constituted in Assam. After this court's judgment in that that other case where the determination by foreigners, Sarbanda Sonowal, the court directed that these foreigners tribunals have to be constituted across the country. That was about
But
50.
the tribunals are only functional in the state of Assam.
No, I don't think
Way
this is
Form
in the
7,
state of
no?
Assam, but
This
your
way Form
lordship is
7.
right that primarily they are functioning in the state of Assam. But the point is here is that whether the foreigners tribunals are functioning in Assam or not, what the election commission itself told its officers repeatedly and now in this present SIR is that look, you don't determine the citizenship of a person on your own. You, if you feel that he is doubtful, you refer it to a tribunal or a court or to the government of India. Don't do it on your own.
Because in the, that's why
There are no standards laid down. Suppose
Right.
you say, my lord,
it is not in respect of every voter. It is only in the respect of the voters who are categorized as D voters.
but
D voters are
The
those
others are accepted
right
as
to,
citizens.
whose right with regard to citizenship has to be determined under the judgment of this court only by a tribunal. Therefore, today, if commission permits its officers to examine their right, that will amount to tinkering with the directions of the court.
But my
That's
lord,
why commission is duty bound.
earlier also, for example, my lord, in the earlier, when the directives were issued for the Assam SIR in 2003, the court, the.
Let me just finish this point. Just let me just finish this point.
Let him
Yeah,
finish.
yeah.
my lord.
Well, let's just have a quick look at section 16 of the 1950, because your lordship has to leave at 3:30. I'll just,
You are referring to 61
of the
or
50 Act, Malad, 50 Act, section 16.
60? 50. Oh, 50.
Representation of People's Act, section 16. A person shall be disqualified for registration, what my lord put to me, in the electoral roll, if he is not a citizen of India or is of unsound mind. Now, my lords, who declares that he is of unsound mind? A third party through a court of law. C, if he is for the time being disqualified from voting under the provisions of any law relating to corrupt practices and other offenses, who decides that? Not the BLO. It's through another statute, correct? So all these things, all these items are decided by orders made by others. It is nothing to do with the BLO. Now come to 19. Subject to the provisions of this part, every person who is not less than 18 and who is ordinary resident, Mullards, will have the right to vote. So, Mullards, as far as citizenship, unsound mind, or otherwise disqualified is concerned, these have to be decided by another authority, not by BLO. This is a complete, Mullards, with the greatest respect. The BLO has no right to go into this issue. And if he finds that somebody he thinks is not a citizen, because the status of citizenship is given under the Act, under our Constitution and under the Citizenship Act. So it depends on, Mullards, if you are born in India after 1950, you shall be a citizen. If you are born between 87 and 2003, if one of your parents is a citizen, you shall be a citizen. And if you are born after 2003, Mullards, then if one of your parents have to be a citizen and one of them should not be an illegal immigrant. These are the only conditions on which the status is granted. So, Mullards, how can the BLO decide this? So this whole question, Mullards, with the greatest respect, and I'll continue tomorrow, Mullards, is completely erroneous. This whole exercise is unconstitutional.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the, when he's born, 1950.
just for a moment, because my Lord Justice Bagchi and Justice Suryakant had asked specifically on the aspect of jurisdiction and power of ECI. I will be addressing specifically on that issue, because there are a gamut of issues before the court.
We'll hear it.
What Mr. Bhushan, on the aspect of whether ECI has jurisdiction and power under 21 and this act to conduct it in this manner, I will be addressing specifically on that, on the constitutional aspect.
Obliged.
In fact, my lord, they said very specifically in the Assam directive, they said the electoral registration officer should ensure as far as possible that only names of Indian citizens are borne on the electoral rolls. But basically it is not for the electoral registration officers
To
to
decide.
determine whether a particular person is a citizen of India or not.
Correct.
The determination is to be made by authorities vested with the responsibility under the Citizenship Act,
Exactly.
the Foreigners Act, and the Illegal Migrants Act. However, the electoral registration officer has to decide for the limited purpose of preparation of electoral roll whether a person is eligible for inclusion of his name in the electoral or
That's all,
roll or
Maharaj.
not on the ground of citizenship, as citizenship is an essential consideration. Of course, but on
He
the
can't
basis
decide.
of what? On the basis of some determination
Yeah.
by some authority.
That's the other authority, Mullah. Not, he can't, he doesn't have that jurisdiction. Anyway, Mullah, we shall.
We'll continue tomorrow.